So one of the questions that was asked that we're recording for is that how do we know how much to charge? That I think is a very private conversation in terms of, are we at a place where we can charge? So one is your confidence levels. Am I already a good coach? Also in terms of whatever is your brand that's been built, and also why people come to you. So most of the coaches that are, say, credentialed and have been experienced as coaches before, they would have also started with pricing that may not be their first choice right now. I do know of coaches who charge anywhere between 80,000 to 1 lakh per conversation, right? And as a young coach who's coming in directly to the space, if you are looking at that, that's a very lucrative and a very unrealistic number. It may not be possible for all of us to start at, say, 80,000, or even, for example, even 8,000, right? So I charge right now 100 USD per session. And for me to make that transition, it has taken a year and a half. And I know that somewhere I feel that I'm undercharging, and somewhere also I feel that for my kind of an audience, this is the good number. And also you have price ranges, right? So for an NGO or somebody who's a say PUC student, I may not be able to charge this much. I usually charge something higher. So it again is a price ranging that you can do. So for somebody who is coming in, initially you can say offer 1 session pro bono, 2 sessions pro bono. After that, you can, I've had people tell me that they offer the first 3 sessions pro bono. And the third session at the end, they have a choice. The client has a choice that whether they want to continue or not. And if they continue for the fourth session, they have to pay for 2 sessions. And then they have to pay for every other session considering moving forward. How much you're going to charge is something, again, you and the client can decide. And it depends on your client base. If your client is an NGO, possibly you cannot charge them 100 USD per session because they're like, it's not happening. If a client is a CEO, if a client is a CFO, possibly a mid-level manager, you can then say 6 sessions, conversations, each conversation is 15,000, possibly give me a lakh, that should work, right? So who is your target audience that you're catering to, and what is their paying capacity also defines some of your price ranging. And it's not a one single price that you have for all coaching sessions. You get to choose what's working for you, what's not working for you. That's a price range. Actually, when you become confident in your skill set, you automatically know that you're delivering value. So possibly if somebody had come to me when I was doing my ACC, and now post PCC, if somebody comes to me, I know that what ACC would have taken 5 conversations for them to come to the same impact that the conversation would have had. I have now that in 1.5 sessions, 1.5 maximum 2 sessions with PCC markers, my way of working, some of the structures and tools that I use. In 1.5 sessions, I know that it's going to like be an absolute crazy impact for them. So I can charge whatever I was charging for 5 sessions, put it into 2-session capsule. So if I was charging 15,000 for 5 sessions, now I charge 8,000 per session, right? So that's something that I have developed. And that's something that I see. And I haven't had any person tell me, hey, this is how much I'm going to charge. So you charge first, then you build it up, then you increase it. So I started with 250 rupees per conversation. Then moved to 500, then 700, then 800, then 1,000, then 1,500, 1,000, 700, 2,000, 2,500, 3,000, 5,000, 7, 8. And there are sessions that I charge 10,000 if I use certain techniques and tools that I know that this session is enough. The client will not come back. I know that because they've found what they have to find in that session. So that way, that is one of the reasons why I have a differential pricing model. But my pricing model is purely safe because I know I deliver value. The client knows that I deliver value, and they're ready to pay me for it. So in your coaching, I think you can start with some numbers, get to a place where you feel this is my number, this is what I am comfortable with. So there are different people who use different techniques. LinkedIn is one, mass marketing is another, email marketing is another. So first is reach, second is conversations, third is conversions. So are you doing that right? So is your reach getting to people? Who is your target audience? Is conversations happening around what is that they want? Is it coaching? Is it mentoring? Is it consulting? Is it something else that they want? And if that's coaching, are they coming to you for this thing? And how many of them are saying no because of price ranging? So you will have to have some level of data, some level of feedback that people find that the fees is a problem. People find their own time is a problem. People find their own commitment is a problem. And possibly fees may not be even on the agenda. So you may have cut yourself or undersold yourself because of that. So what I say is your confidence will come from creative ways in which you know that, oh, I have explored all of these boundaries. And even with all of these explorations, I am good as a coach. And when you feel good as a coach, automatically you'll feel good about your coaching. The client also will find that there. So skill set wise updation has to happen. With skill set wise updation and trying out new things and finding out that you're good with different things, so improving on different things. That again is higher confidence that is being built. With higher confidence, you'll know you're able to deliver impact, and the client knows it. Your testimonial show it, and then it's then a very simple method forward that we're going on the right path. And uh, possibly with 10 sessions with ACC, or 10 sessions that you're charging low, with possibly two people, you can now look to convert only one person for one session, and that'll give you that numbers. So don't compromise on your numbers, on the session value that you're creating, just because of your client feeling that there's a higher price pinch. But when you're asking a higher price, make sure that the value that you're delivering is something that you're confident of. You don't need to provide solutions. No, that's not what I'm asking. That's what I'm saying. You still stay as a coach, but your work is resonating at that frequency where you don't need to give them solutions. They're able to find them on their own. You're not mentoring them, you're not consulting them, yet the client is finding out solutions. You are operating at that frequency. And you're operating at that frequency, and you feel that you're operating at that frequency, go for it. And in that space, get a good mentor. Not the 10 hours that ICF mandates you to do. I think that's fantastic that they mandate. But I think if you're really serious about coaching, get yourself a good mentor, spend money on mentoring, and then get to a space where you're like really accelerating your way through coaching. Because a lot of my friends who are also into the coaching aspect, they're like, I spent so much money. Why should I spend money on mentoring? But yeah, you spend money on a car, but then you'll have to spend money on getting it repaired, getting it in the prime shape. Otherwise, it won't work for you, right? Jyoti, is that a hand raise or?
Yeah, I have a question. My thing is not working on the emojis. I don't know why. So I had to finally raise my hand physically. Can I put forward a question?
Sure.
I have two questions. I mean, I'll
Mm-hmm.
forget maybe, but you can remember. I know. Number
Yeah.
one is I am a very, very new person in this line.
Mm-hmm.
I've not even yet submitted my finals. Just I'll
Mm-hmm.
finish in a month or two.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, of course, we are allowed to practice and we have been practicing.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I've been charging anyone, but I don't intend to undersell myself ever.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to just know from you because I did hear a couple of your recordings,
Mm-hmm.
and you seemed like it's been 1.5 years that you have seen started coaching. But I've heard senior coaches also used to attend our classes, and I think you are a coach of a different level. That's a compliment I'm passing on to you.
Thank you. Received, accepted.
I just want to know uh, how does Jyoti, suppose she looks up to Sunil,
Mm-hmm.
okay? What does Jyoti at this stage, when she's just starting her career in this field, what does she have to do to become a coach Sunil
Yeah.
or a coach XYZ, whoever she admires?
Mm-hmm.
So what are the points you could give us? And then my second question is, you just talked about hiring a mentor, which I do believe in,
Mm-hmm.
because a mentor is the one who always guides you whenever you are. How do you really find a mentor?
Yeah, I think I'll,
Where is the mentor?
mm. I'll answer the second question first. Finding a mentor is already done. I'm here. uh, so that's one.
No, finding a
The
mentor is
It's already done. So I'm your mentor. So you found me. So I think the answer to your second question is already that. Uh,
okay. Okay.
on a serious note, so your mentors can be
So I
found
can I
in.
can address you as my mentor. Okay, thank you very much. Okay. So because I do admire you, so it's okay.
Yeah. So on a serious note, you can actually find a mentor registry on the ICF. So when you go to the ICF website, when if you're a member, I think even if you're a non-member, you can actually still find ICF has a registry of other coaches who are credentialed, who've been in this space for a very long time. They are given their names out there that I'm a mentor, right? So if I now with PCC or with MCC, uh, pay around $85 for the ICF, and with I think other things also, like I have to do some things additionally, I can put myself there as a mentor. So in their registry, I can go there as a mentor, and anybody who is searching for a mentor can find me based on that, like based on time, based on uh, uh, whether they are able to resonate with me. So another factor is you should be able to resonate with the mentor. The mentor coach is somebody who's good as a mentor as well as good as a coach. So that's also something that you'll have to figure out. Second is be on the lookout for somebody who inspires you, right? So somebody, irrespective of age, if they're able to inspire you, and then also break down some of your competencies or the concepts around the competencies into simple things that you're able to remember. That's somebody who is a good mentor coach for you. So you're able to find them on different methods. Possibly another way to find is peer coaching is one of the ways in which you can find somebody who's good with their craft. So one of the ways in which I improved when I was in my ACC journey or my first 50 hours, 100 hours, is that I was constantly working with somebody with a higher credential. And it also helped that I was full time into this. I had no other job. So that was occupying me elsewhere. I was into it full time. I was a good student. I learned all things proper. And also what helped was I had no boundaries to say it should not be tried, this should not be tried. In peer coaching, I did a lot. I tried everything, experimented and say, okay, this will work with a client, this will work with this type of client, this will not work with this client, this will possibly backfire. And I experimented. I asked these questions that are not your typical marker-based questions. And that's how now I have a portfolio of my own set of questions that I can take to any conversation and be like, I know this will deliver value. And also through that, I learned the power of silence, letting silence do the most of the questioning. Then what to do, what not to do was something that was very, very clear for me because I had experimented so much. Use your peer coaching as an experimental framework and use other ways additional to say peer coaching to also learn, use whatever you have learned so far with an actual client. Experiment with peer coaches, deploy in with experiment with peer coaches, deploy with real coaches, real clients. So that way you
Very
have
good.
this thing, and never treat a peer coaching as just an exchange of hours. That's, I think, the highest level of time wasting. If you're looking at it just the hours, treat every conversation precious, every peer coach as a full-fledged client. They are not here. You may get another hour, 1 hour in exchange for both of you, or 5 hours, then whatever numbers. But each hour is still considered to be the most sacred coaching conversation ever. Get your best self to each conversation and learn from each conversation. Right. So when I did my 500, um, I took it as 500 hours of learning and not 500 hours of practice. So I put every bit of experimentation into that 500, learned, and by the time I operated to getting paid clients, it was around 500 plus hours when I put it in. And I said, now I'm ready. I've done all sorts of coaching. And I'd even said, I can coach even the president of any organization, any CEO. I can coach MCCs because I know I am good. Because in my aspect, I was in my comfort zone. I don't know that I don't know was very high, but what I know was very low. By the time I got to 500, I know that I know, and I know that I don't know. I like that spectrum that I don't know that I don't know is very less. And also, I'm treating every conversation as a learning conversation, right? So you don't, and learning never ends. So you're always getting better at every coaching conversation, and you don't take any conversation lightly. So you take it from there, and that's how you choose. Your values also, should match with the mentor.
Yeah.
So
So one thing you have to resonate with the mentor definitely, because I mean earlier also I've had mentors who you don't plan that okay, this guy is going to be my mentor. Like even when I also touched base with you for the first time, it was just like okay, I'm talking to someone called Sunil. But gradually as I got to know you, I realized that oh god, I'm looking up to him as a perfect example.
yeah, yeah,
So you're right. I think I would like to have you as a mentor. But how does the process go? Like, can I reach out to you, or is it
yeah,
like
yeah. Yeah, generally it's like first you meet the person, then you meet the coach, then you meet the coach. So
we'll see that later
yeah,
on. Maybe as
yeah,
we
yeah,
move, let's not
yeah,
waste other people's time.
yeah. And
But
I think, yeah,
even for me, also like my purpose is now, as you said, that I did a lot of things in life, but now I've totally given all my time and my energy and my focus. I've studied a lot of subjects, but I'm not going to do anything else but coaching.
mm,
So once I start off, this is all. And as you yourself said, and I think this is exactly why we click because our thoughts match. I also believe in always looking up at the seniors to learn from. They're the best teachers you can get.
yeah, absolutely. And
Even
also
if the three,
somewhere,
four batch,
mm,
3, 4 months senior also, they can also teach you a lot. Even three, four
they
months of
can,
experience matters a lot.
they can, yeah, they can. And I also look at somebody who is a natural mentor. So it's not that they've learned mentoring, but mentoring is already a part of who they are. And coaching also. So they're embodying coaching rather than doing coaching. So for the lack of examples or lack of repeating it. So one is you learn to be a coach. Second, you're becoming a coach. And third, you're being a coach, ACC, PCC, MCC. So when every part of your being is already radiating competencies and radiating coaching, that's when you know that you've arrived at the highest stage. So otherwise, it's just, initially ACC is learning where the car is, where the brake is, where the clutch is. Okay, if I press this, something else will happen. And PCC is actually taking it on the road and getting to a space where, you're still working around competencies. You're still working around, okay, should I look at this mirror, look at this mirror, when to brake, when not to brake, when to go to which gear. So that's like consciously done. It's a conscious competency aspect. And after that, we are getting to mastery. Is that it's all of these competencies are unconsciously done. It's unconscious competency. And at that point, you've reached. After that, it's like child's play. You can talk in your phone and start driving. You can have your kids shouting next to you, but still concentrate on the road. You'll know when to brake, when not to brake. You'll know, okay, all that space. So it will come to you.
Yeah, I did see you coaching on the same level. It seemed as if you're driving a car as smooth as that. When you're coaching the questions and the
Yeah.
comparisons and out of the questioning was very strong and very less. You question very less,
Yeah, you don't have to
very smooth.
search for questions. I think the questions will come to you, and that's the magic of staying in the moment. The questions will come to you, and whatever question, the most natural question that at that point that is appearing for you, you bring it up to the client.
I'm going
So
to follow you totally, and then within after 1.5 years, even I'll also say I know that I'm a very good coach. I can do it. I
yes,
can
yes,
also coach the whoever will be then the Prime Minister of India.
yes, yes, yes.
I know other videos are not on. I'm sure they all are laughing at me.
I think it is good to have a goal that inspires you. That is something that sounds so ridiculous, saying, "Hey, it's laughable," but it's you set yourself a target there, saying, "Hey, that's something I want to look up to," and you'll get there. And
You
I
mentioned
think
something about pro bono that not to do or to do pro bono.
it depends. It depends on your pro. See, don't do everything pro bono. which is something I am learning. So I used to do, like, my default was pro bono, and now I choose. So I have now chosen to say offer 2 sessions pro bono always for anybody coming in, and after that it's paid. If you come after 2, then you have to pay $100 per session right now. And I think over the course of another 6 months, by end of 2024, that number will increase. And it'll increase, I don't know to what numbers, but it'll increase. Because I am gathering experience, I'm gathering, time. I don't know what happened with my video. Wait.
Can I book you for the next 6 months for the pro bono sessions in advance?
Yeah, so two sessions with anybody is open. So any client, any coach, this thing, and offering one mentor coaching session from say May until December for any coach. So essentially, it's one way. I am trying to put myself out there, saying, "Hey, here I am." And if there's a frequency match between me and my client, if they have a pressing value and they feel that this is something that they need, I'm ready. So I am not operating from saying, "Oh, there's a fear mindset." But I'm operating also from an abundance mindset, saying my clients will come because I am delivering value. They have something that needs work. They see that I will enable them in their journey forward, and that should do it. So pro bono is one way in which you're sort of enabling people to find you, but it should not become a default. So it should not be that, oh, everywhere, anytime people are offering pro bono. And I offer pro bono for everybody who's new. I don't do pro bono for, say, 2 sessions I've done pro bono with, say, for example, Shanmugapriya here. And it's done, and say, possibly I'm offering another pro bono session only for coaches. And if she comes along, I'm like, the turn, your turn's already done. You can now come for paid coaching. So that's where I draw the line. So you can choose whatever works for you and draw a line. But during my coach learning place, I was like, let's not bother about money. Let me get my experience. Let me get the number of hours, and let me get it from as wide a variety of people as possible, so that I have all the width and depth of experiences there. And then when I know that I have enough depth and experience, I've handled that, and I know that I'm good at it, then I will start charging. So that's how the journey is. Yeah.
Then what's the best mode? What you feel personally? Of course, we all feel differently. According to you, what is the best mode of getting clients?
Visibility.
Visibility. That's again
Visibility,
LinkedIn.
credibility, and profitability. I think it's BNI is three things:
I've
visibility,
seen.
credibility, and
Okay,
profitability.
congratulations on becoming a BNI member. I
Thank
just had a
you.
BNI meeting just now also. And what I'm trying to say is like that again means social media, right?
Not necessarily, right?
Then.
So, social media is one of the methods in which you can actually get to say
Mhm.
building your brand, building your this thing. There are multiple places, like like you have a network. BNI is a network, so your credibility in that area as to what you do as a coach, how many people are aware about you. The whole aspect of visibility is how many people are aware about you, and that most of the times happens to have come through social media because people are on social media, and social media is not doing any magic. Social media, people are there on social media. People are there on Instagram. People are there on Facebook. People are there on LinkedIn. You need to be visible to people. Are there other areas where you need to be visible on people? So everybody who is going to look at this recording sees Nimma Coach
Mhm.
open to Coach Sunil Satyendra everywhere. I put this banner in every other session that I go to as a member. ICF Bangalore, ICF Chennai, ICF Bangkok, ICF Lebanon, anywhere else I'm on video. Branding. Zero money
Mhm.
spent. I go to physical events where every other marriage, every other function, now that I'm self-employed, I can actually go to these places. I tell people that I'm a coach. And they ask, okay, what are you coach? Are you a tuition? Are you, sports coach? The regular banter. And then I tell them, no, that's not how it is. I ask them, you experience coaching. I also give them an example saying, if you look at a dish on a menu card, you don't know whether you want to order it or not. Possibly it'll be better if you're able to see an image that's very similar. Possibly if the image is there, you look at the image, you feel good, you possibly order. But if there's no image, For you to taste it is the best way. So even ICF tagline is experience coaching. So wherever I go, I tell people to experience coaching. Say it's automatically two sessions of pro bono for everybody. I say experience it. They are experienced coaching. They know whether they pay me and come later or not. They've experienced coaching. I know I'll deliver value in 2 sessions. So they're coming there, getting their zero session, 1 and 2 sessions free. They're having an experience that they like it, they don't like it. If they like it, they either come on board. They come on board 10 months later, 1 year later, 2 year later, because they've got value here. They send their friends, clients, blah, blah, blah to me saying, this person really helped me there. So what you've created is a funnel that's working for you. It doesn't need to come from social media alone. You go to another conference, you say, hey, I'm a coach. This is what I do. Explain it and then give them an offer saying 2 sessions are always on the house. You don't have to pay.
Can you
When
go back 1.5 years back and then you explain, this is you today?
Huh.
Because you're so confident and you're so good at
No,
your
that was
work.
the same strategy 1.5 years back. Give it
So you just started.
as an experience. Give it as an experience.
Mhm.
And possibly one of the things that was working for me is when I quit coaching, I had a network of around 1,500 people in my WhatsApp. And I chose to call 50 people and say, do you want to get coached? And offer me 1 rupee, offer me a book, offer me coffee, offer me something as a barter system that works. Possibly do my website, possibly help me on my LinkedIn. So it's a barter. So they gave me something in return, and I gave them coaching in return. They were giving me hours, they were giving me experience, they were giving me a place for me to test my coaching, test my
Mhm.
coaching skills, abilities, tools, etc., etc., etc. So I was always gaining, but I was not gaining monetarily. So my strategy was always the same. If I have to get 700 or 500 hours, if I have say 100 people, then I get 5 sessions per person. How difficult is it for me to get 100 people from 1,500 I have? It's not going to be a
Mhm.
difficult proposition. If I have to
Mhm.
convince 100 people in it, I have to at least reach out to say possibly 500 people, even with a 20% conversion ratio. So do I know enough people in my network that's open for a journey-based work for say 5 sessions, 5 weeks? So 5 sessions, 5 weeks, 1 session a week. Give my calendar, set up my calendar, set up a single blog that explains what coaching is, what coaching is not. Share it with every person. Call them. Call 150 to 200 people and call them saying, hey, been a long time, let's catch up. Call them, set up a session with them, do a discovery call, see if it works out. Out of 1,500 to talking to 500 to getting 100 clients is then a no big deal. Is a no-brainer.
Mhm.
And if somebody offers to pay, then it's even better.
Mhm.
Right? So
Absolutely.
that's the strategy I used. Offer it first with not looking for money. You're going to deliver, then you increase. Geo, like the biggest example is Geo. Give them free for about 1.5 years. Your service is so good that people jump onto it. And then
Mhm.
say, raise the price to 399 a month. People have found value through your work and they'll subscribe. But by then,
Mhm.
I think Geo did all that. There are like bigger things at play, like customer acquisition, competition removal, blah blah blah. Also happened. The scale at which they had money to go for it. So here in say I was an individual coach who was looking to look at it as a say one thing that gives them money. Then you may not be able to scale it at that space of giving it everybody free, but then give it in a way that people experience it first, and then they have a choice.
I just have one more question is what I'm facing as
Mm-hmm.
a beginner
Mm-hmm.
is that when you
Yeah.
introduce yourself as a coach somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
everyone first of course wants to know
Mm.
what is coaching.
Mm.
So what do you mean by coaching? Okay, that we have marked up by now with up on the books. I just talk on the book language. We bring out the best your potential and you make you happy and kind of we set out to help you set out your goals and your targets and whatever. Ultimately, make you reach your highest potential where you can. So that little bit of that we mugged up and we managed to explain to them. But then they'll end up saying things like, "Oh, No, I have 3 coaches in my building also, and I have 4 coaches here. So and I do know because even I've also received calls and I've seen WhatsApp messages where people claim to offer you coaching courses, life coach courses. कि 550 रुपया दीजिए और 5.5 घंटे में कोच बनिए.
Hmm.
So they'll probably just teach you the basics of coaching and the rest is all ज्ञान तो लोगों को फ्री में आता ही है. So they probably give you that kind of a thing. So then they've entered even in BNI. I met a lady like that. So she's already taken because of course, there's a
Hmm.
area where one person occupies. So she's already taken the life coach category. And then when I had a one-to-one meet with her and I asked her, she's not done any course. So I said, where did you qualify from? They know it's all for my self-learning. Now,
Hmm.
how do I, in any organization as big as that, the 100 members, tell people, hey, listen, I'm superior to her. I've done from MML, and I've done from here, and I've done from there. I can't. It doesn't sound nice, sound conceited also. How do
Yeah.
you prove that these people are just half, I would, because here we're sitting, half jolly life coaches. There's so many jolly life coaches.
Yeah. So one thing is ICF is your answer to that because it's an internationally acclaimed, what do I say? I don't know, accredited, but internationally accepted and valued and respected organization. So if you have a certificate from the ICF, EMCC, and I think there are 4 more bodies.
National
So
Coaching
it's
Federation.
so you have 4 more. So I think 6 more. Totally at 6 credentialing bodies in different spaces of coaching. So that itself adds value to you. And the aspect is that once you're good, you'll get found. If you're bad as a coach, so even if you're an uncredentialed coach, doesn't mean that you're a bad coach. If you're a self-learned coach, the dhongi baba jo hote, you'll get found out. So you'll get found out in the first session, second session, third session. You're a not a qualified coach. You don't know what coaching is about. If the client is finding whatever may be the reason that the client went to them, if they are finding out value, then there's something that is being exchanged, right? So they may not be a credential coach, they may not be an ICF coach, but doesn't mean that whatever they're giving is of no value. If people are coming, then they're delivering value. So first thing is no elitism saying, oh, because I'm credentialed, I am there. So if somebody else who's not credentialed is bad, right? So they may have different ways to come to the same conclusion. What we have as an advantage is that we've been trained. It's scalable. It's completely working multiple conditions. It's a certification and training that's internationally accepted. We have to build that credibility that, hey, this is what I am doing. And every time, however many coaches that you may know of, unless you resonate with the coach, nothing will happen. So how do you build that resonance with your client is your aspect. So what ICF or MML or any training institution, whatever the name be, is help you understand, like I gave you the reference of a car, that what car are you driving, how many cars are there, what are the basics of a car, how to drive a car, when not to drive a car, when not to brake, when to accelerate. That's where it is. But where you are going as a journey, they don't come in. Right. So that's something that we as coaches will have to build in terms of our credibility, our visibility, and all that. And if you're good, people will come and find you. There are like billions of astrologers there, like across India. But if you're good, people will come to you. People will knock, give you premium prices, and come to you and say, "Give me 5 minutes of your time." So with time, you will have to build your credibility, and with time, you'll have to get there.
Get them.
Yeah. So before you ask another question, I think Shanmuga Priya raised
Yeah,
the
I was going to
hand.
say that. No, I was not
I,
going to ask another question. I saw that hand.
you
No,
can
it's
still
okay.
ask.
No, that was a follow-up question to what she have asked. So that's why I raised my hand
Okay.
yeah, it is about you talking about a math of 1,500 people in your
Mm-hmm.
contact, and out of that you
Mm-hmm.
reached 500, and you converted 100 for
Mm-hmm.
clicking your initial hours, and in the barter of just for the time with some small exchange.
Correct.
This approach I'm trying almost since 6 months. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But the problem is that I don't know, the 1,500 you already gained over your own
Time.
contacts,
Correct.
or it's that something you built a tribe around the coaching itself. But
That's
now I don't have
yeah.
such a big tribe on
Mhm.
my own. So
Mm.
I'm just hustling in the zone what I know with my colleagues, my previous friends, my community
Mhm.
and stuff. But the problem is, though it is a free, even I'm not asking for any kind of exchange, people are very much hesitant to even come for that 1 hour at first place. Though they know me as a friend, they just
Mhm.
want me to, they're thinking that they are helping me by giving their time, but they're not
Yeah.
thinking that they are benefiting out of the coaching thing. Or else where I'll end up is that it will not be like a coaching conversation. It will be like
Mm.
a friends catching up after so many, hey, you tell me about this. Oh, is it how it is? Okay, then how did you get this happened? Can you give me a suggestion?
Mm.
Then I could not really do that conversation into the real coaching standard. So I end up in either small talks or giving them some suggestion or going into the mentoring part. So I
Mm.
could not really call that as my coaching experiment ground. So this is the challenge I'm facing. So that's my first question on the follow up of what you were discussing.
Yeah, so one advantage I had is definitely I had a long list of people that I knew. The second advantage I had is every time I am getting into a conversation, and I was serious about coaching. So there were people who were sending me people saying, "Hey, this person is also serious about coaching. Why don't you to collaborate either as a coach pair or client pair or something?" And then basically get to a point where my networks are automatically building. So one that. So even if you have a lesser number of people, say you only know 20 people in your network.
Mm. Okay.
So that doesn't stop you from going around the 20. Second, doesn't stop you from asking the 20 to refer another 20 from their network.
Mm.
Right. So what usually helped me is that even if my friends say, I'm not able to help you right now, I don't have time, blah blah blah. If they have a reason or a genuine, not so genuine aspect as well, whatever be the case. I said, if not, you give me somebody else. Give me 5 people from your network that I can talk to, that possibly can give me 5 hours of coaching.
Okay,
So,
this somehow I think it is not, maybe as a person, I don't really easily ask for help. Maybe that's
uh,
something stopping me from doing this. Because this is also a self introspection what I have done. Because I
mhm,
mostly I'll go and I would like to do things in the attractive manner rather than people come to me rather than I'm chasing, or it will sound like some multi-level marketing business for me. So I that used to sound bit not in my values for me. So that's the reason I really go to the circle where I really can trust and ask for such kind of help. So that's where I'm really struggling, Sunil. I'm really offering every month, despite of my my regular work. I really wanted to do a considered amount of coaching on different topics so that I simultaneously
mhm,
explore my niche as well. What is my core competency topic? But then the problem is really getting that 5 hours of 5 people as well. That's where I'm
mhm,
really
mhm,
struggling.
mhm. I think it's a challenge. It's not as easy as I make it sound, saying, hey, you reach out 500 people.
Exactly.
Uh, but what I'm trying to give you is a spark of an idea, saying, hey, this is also possible, right? Execution will take time. Execution will take it's a separate skill set. But what I'm
Mm.
trying to give you is an option saying, hey, this can also be considered. That is the aspect here. And possibly if it's not working out, then possibly we can, like I can do a mentoring session on that, specifically because of your challenges. I can,
Mm.
sit down and work with you on that. We can do it during a lab session. So you can ask during a labs. So you can also do that, or we can take it as a separate session. Uh,
Okay,
yeah.
that's good, sir. Because the challenge I kept to myself is that apart from the peer coaching that we do within the tribes or in the coaching circle, I
Mm-hmm.
really wanted to tap into the real crowd, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and wanted to see how I can bring the breakthroughs in the real people where they don't know what is coaching, where they don't know the effective questioning, listening,
Mm-hmm.
leaving everything aside. They just come with a problem to you, and
Mm-hmm.
how you as a coach help them something and bring results. That's
Mm-hmm.
what I really wanted to experiment on. That's the experiment I am doing for myself. That's the reason, though I'm a corporate coach in my company, I'm not tapping into my colleagues. I'm not tapping into the coaching in tribe. I really wanted to pick real people and see how I'm efficient. So when I have this constraint, I wanted to know my ability there. But getting the real people is where I'm stuck now.
I think I have a fundamental problem with that, because now whatever you made, you made me unreal people. So
No, not.
they like the fundamental space I operated on when I went like did a lot of peer coaching is that the person on the other side, when I am the client, wears the hat of a coach. Otherwise, they're my client. They're as real gets. Right. So
Okay.
it is with that attitude that I went into coaching and got my hours, got my experience, got my credentialing and all that. So if
That's a good one.
you are
Yeah.
seeing your clients as not, sorry, your colleagues as not real people, then we have a big problem on our hands in terms of saying, okay, who is real client, who's not real client. If someone is discounting because they're my client, they're my colleagues, they cannot be real clients because I know them. Is it about, like, possibly if you go into coach supervision, is it about uh, how they will perceive me if I am not giving them impact, or they don't see impact? Will it affect my relationships? If there are those radar spaces, that could be some space. It could be that with multiple coaches, there is said they don't want to be coach their friends because they don't want their friends to troll them, laugh about them, saying, "Hey, I came to this person, it didn't work out." So people will have their own internal storytellings as to why they are not doing, why they're doing with some people. So
Okay.
all I ask is that story helping? And if it's not helping, then possibly you need to look at the story differently or tell different stories.
Okay.
So everybody is a real client. And I've had so many coaches tell me that I don't want to do peer coaching because they'll bring all dabba topics. So the same thing is suddenly brought by a real client. It doesn't become like a dumb question because they're paying their real clients. But if the same question comes from a peer coach, you're like, that's horrible. That's how can I be a coach here? Right. So, I think I've answered this without answering this.
Yeah, I get it. I should not be limiting myself with that belief
Yeah.
of not going into the known zone where I really wanted to go into the unknown zone. Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
about even the trawling and then stuff, because I'm confident to do that, but somehow the asking for help, or uh,
Mm-hmm.
somehow I have a feeling that I'm nagging them to do some favor for me, which they really don't want to do it. But then it's
Mm-hmm.
so that's
Yeah.
something I think it's limiting me from doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. I still have some of my very good friends who said, don't become my coach. And I said, fantastic. It made it very clear that I'll not be a coach, I'll not ask him. So if they don't want you to be their coach, if they feel like that will sabotage at some point, any point in their relationship, they will come back and tell you, I'm okay, you're okay, right? So that, I don't know if you know the TA concept. I'm okay, you're okay. So we operate from that place that the client, when we are doing coaching, is coming from a space of complete, they have everything that is there available to them. So even with your friends, you put it in a way that they always have an ability to say no. They always have the ability to say no, but you put it to them, the communication is in a way that they have a choice to say no without sabotaging the relationship. And then you'll get people from your network who have genuine problems, who need this, and don't really say, "Oh, I need complex, engineering problems that possibly Vishweshwaraya would have solved to get to coaching." With clients, it starts with the simplest topic because they are also not ready to bring complex topics to you because they don't trust coaching, they don't trust you with coaching initially. That trust is built over sessions. And that's when real topics begin to emerge.
As you
So,
talked about the topic itself a topic here. Whenever I ask somebody to come with their coaching topic so we can have a conversation, they'll ask me what topic I should pick, how big it should be, how small it should be. Then then I feel that the conversation is going somewhere else if I guide
Yeah.
what topic that we should speak.
Wheel of
It
life.
is a problem. Either I don't want to go with the where I stuck, Sunil, somebody who knows about coaching, that's our peer coaching group. So that's where I have my limiting belief stopping. But if I go to the somebody, I don't want to call it real because you're not liking the word. So
It's
somebody
not
outside
about
the
me,
tribe.
not about me liking, not liking. So it is about whether it resonates with you or not.
Yeah, so I mean, to the group which is beyond the circle of the coaches, then they are so perplexed with the word coach itself. When I say, okay, whatever the problem you have, then we can talk about. Then they say, problem? Why do I have a problem? Then they'll associate this with some counseling therapy. No, I don't have any problem. I don't want to talk about it. It goes in that direction. So
Yeah.
somewhere I don't know how to make them educated at the same time empowered to come for a coaching in a very
Yeah.
voluntary manner to experiment this experience.
Yeah. I think Wheel of Life, start with Wheel of Life. Wheel of Life is a fantastic example. So you're
Yeah.
giving them full-fledged space to sort of experiment, and then see what areas of life do they feel improvement on. And I think I've used multiple techniques. One is, like challenge technique, sometimes cajole technique, sometimes different techniques with different people. I know what works for each of them. So I have
Mhm.
challenged somebody saying, hey, if you don't like it, it's okay. But come. But how can you tell that you don't know coach, you don't need coaching without having experimented with it? So how can you say this person is not going to be your friend without even talking to him? Yeah, so give real life example, real world examples that drive home the advantage that this is a safe space. How much ever you say it's a safe space, verbally saying it is not going to cut it. And what I had was a very easy to read, easy to understand LinkedIn post. So how I explain coaching is like a treasure hunt. You know point A, you know point B. Now, sometimes we are figuring out point B. So you know that there is a treasure somewhere. And how do you go to a treasure hunt? You solve clues, you go to the next clue, and that's how the whole process works. Right? So in this treasure hunt, what I am doing as a coach is enabling you to solve clues. I am not solving the clues for you. Remember, I am enabling you to solve clues. You have to go solve the clues, go to the next clue. I am not taking you there. So when you get to the next clue, I'll come back again and we'll solve it out together. Right? So it's the most simplest way of answering, getting the concept across. So, and one of the things that I ask coaches is, can you explain coaching to a 10-year-old? If you're able to crack explaining coaching to a 10-year-old, you have it. Like, people will come to you because we made it safe. So if I explain saying this is what coaching is, the very layman's term, they're ready to experience it, experiment with it. And then you bring Wheel of Life, then you bring your competencies, blah, 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 everything. Then they come for the experience. Right?
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, simple.
Yeah. Okay. I don't want to overshadow other questions, but it can be answered later also. But instead of
Yes.
one-to-one, is there any other way also we can
No,
assemble this group? Yeah.
make an awareness post, right? So make an awareness post what coaching is. Do a webinar, explain what coaching is, get your friends along, get other coaches, talk about coaching, put it out on LinkedIn, put it out on WhatsApp, uh, do all the things that I am doing. Not self promotion,
Yeah, but
but
then the hustling is something inevitable that we have to constantly hustle in different,
yes, yes,
let
yes,
it be the
yes.
social media or in the groups. But that's what it's
Visibility,
really
visibility
ready.
matters.
In the interest of time, I shut my mouth and then let curious to hear somebody's questions.
No, I think one thing is everybody's question is important because it's possibly a question they have in their head, but they may not be able to articulate it the way you articulate it. They may not be able to, at this present of time, think that it is important and say, oh no, I'm not going to talk about it. So you push your questions. If we have time, another 20 minutes, and we'll take it. Or otherwise, you have the question, park it, put it in the group so that I'll also answer it there, and then we can take it from there. So Don't hold
Deepti, you
yourself
have a
back.
question? Deepti, you
Yeah.
have a question?
No,
Deep-
Jyoti, go ahead. If anything come across, I'll pop
So
in.
I think I'm overexcited, so
I
I
just
won't do
put
this
on
often,
my
but yes,
video because there was no
initially
one.
I do tend to have too many questions.
No, I
I
don't
won't
have
tend.
any question right now. I just put on the video because actually I am in Hong Kong and I was earlier having dinner, so that's the reason my video was off.
Okay,
The
okay.
timing in Hong Kong is always dinner time. So
Yeah,
Niels.
yeah, I understand. Wonderful.
So now I can be visible, so I thought I'll be visible.
It's nice to have that visibility, then interact better, I feel. Without the video,
Absolutely.
but then of course we all have a reason to do it off at times.
Yeah, it's of course. I mean, Zoom is meant to be.
So I'll just relate a recent incident which I faced about just last week. I went to a family get together, and you cannot always be like a coach. Okay, by nature maybe you're different. Yes, I have evolved ever since I got into coaching. You do evolve with your business or whatever you're doing. So I have evolved. I have changed a lot after my coaching because every day you're learning the same thing. Who am I, and this and that. A lot of you become a coach from internally also. But the basic nature of a person of cracking jokes or of taking things lightly, like I'm not a very serious person, so what you write on the social media is different. You cannot be writing only jokes on the social media. What you write on the social media is more of something to do with how to overcome this and how to overcome that and negativity or positivity and blah blah blah. So half your family does not even bother to read that. They just go through something, okay. They know that you are present there on the social media, and then they've got a big crowd, and one person just happened to say, कि तुम इतना लिखती हो, तुम उसको क्या practice कर रही हो क्या? So that doesn't, I said, it doesn't mean it's practice. That's my profession. You are a designer, so are you all the time dressed like a designer? That's not the point. Like when I put on my coach's hat, I become that person. Right now, I don't have a coach's hat. But then she went on, कि पहले imbibe it in yourself and then only, learn to give gyan on the media or anybody else. So which I found quite offensive, yes. Somehow I don't know how I put it off, and I just said that, do you know what life coaching is? Like, I'm not interested in all that. I just want to see you as an evolved person. You want to give me a chance to see. So how do you deal like this was one experience, but it can come across more often in friends circle who've known you earlier, maybe as a funky person, and suddenly they say they can't digest the fact that she's a life coach and she sends such moralistic kind of stuff on social media.
Mm. I think it is always going to be a difficult one to work with people who you know from a very long time, right? So they've seen different versions of who you are. Some of them may be ready to see you like that. Possibly there's some level of different other emotions, jealousy, anger, blah blah blah, something else also coming into picture. So from our side, we have no control as to how the other side feels. Only thing that we're able to control is this, right? And also it adds to the point of saying, if somebody says, are you living these ideals, are you living your life this way? As a coach, I think we are always trying to self improve ourselves, right? So that's also part of our coaching. So you can say, yeah, we are part of our own transformations. What makes you think that I am not transforming? And
No,
I
that's just
think
how I started by telling you that I have evolved.
and give
Last
examples,
couple of
right? Give
1 year that
examples.
I have evolved, but maybe in that big crowd, you do meet different people, and you don't want to just talk about again moral science classes on social media, moral science classes on on Zoom all the time. You are studying all about coaching. Once in a while, when you go to a friend circle, or when you just want to let your head down and be yourself. And there's someone answers a question in a big group. So that I find it a little bit like, and I'm not the kind to retaliate. I'm not a very
Yeah.
argumentative person that I can pick up a fight or something, and I don't want to do that either. So that will go against my career also, against my credentials of a life coach. That you pick up a fight. So how do you really? Because it does get offensive when someone challenges a profession about which you are so passionate about.
Right. So, for example, I think a very wonderful example is we finished IPL yesterday, right? So, IPL's done yesterday. So, KKR won versus Sunrisers Hyderabad. I think my video just went off. Okay. It's apparently not able to detect my camera, which it was detecting until now. So, but yeah. So the whole aspect is how many players played the game. So yesterday 22 players played the game, 2 umpires. How many people watched it? According to Geo, at least 50 crore people, right? 50 crore people watched it. Everybody has their opinion about what happened in that particular stadium. Only for 22 people, it was a lived experience. At every point of time, it was a lived experience for possibly 11 plus 3, 11 plus 15 people. At every instant of time, it was a lived experience. The rest may not have lived each moment, where the moment is. Everybody has a different interpretation of, say this thing is, will my interpretation of something change what happened there on the field? Does me telling Sunrisers should have played better make it any different for what happened there? Nothing. So
No.
we should not be bothered about what somebody else is saying. If you're feeling offensive, you can always, at least what I deal with is humor. And humor is one of the ways in which you deflect it. And if you can always, so there are different roles that different people hold on to. I'm not a mother at all points of time. I'm not a manager at all points of time. That every role has a timeline, every role has a situation. So you can always use every situation to put your brand out there. So if people have an opinion, if they voiced it out to you, you can always say, hey, no, that's not how it is. This is how it is. And there you could use multiple techniques, challenge them, humor them, cajole them, convince them, confuse them.
Confuse them. I like that one. Yeah, that's the best way.
You can
convince them, confuse them.
you can make them curious about what coaching is, right? So that's when you have won over somebody. So rest of the techniques is deflection. So you don't want to talk about it at that point with that particular person, fantastic. But make them curious.
That's a good one.
If somebody challenges you in front of a group, saying you are a dumb person, like possibly somebody tells me I'm dumb, I'm like, prove it to me. So prove it to me. So then they'll ask me a question. I'm like, I will tell you an answer. And then I'll be like, if you are challenging me, it's a counter challenge. You will have to accept that I am also challenging you. Ready for it? Come. I know my game. Are you ready to play? So sometimes even your act of bravery, even though you're not brave inside, you're like, oh shit, what the hell's happening? Your act of bravery is enough to put people on the other side. And that's why nature has invested camouflage. There are so many snakes. I think there's one snake that has a red, black, red pattern. And there's another snake that's black, red, black pattern. One of them is venomous. But when you look at it first point blank, both snakes look the same. The non-venomous one gets away every time because it's copied. Something very similar. And people will think panga nahi lene ka aise. So you at least for me, in wherever places I have gone to, if somebody is challenging me on something, I'm like, are you sure? I know my game. Are you sure? If you hit me 10 times, I'll hit you back 11 times. Be ready for it. Only if you're ready, challenge me. And that's a reputation I built from age 4. So no nonsense with me at any point of time.
You sound so much like Rajnikant just now. You sounded like Rajnikant.
But Rajni can, so that is the deal. So if you see, right now I use humor, right? So it was a emotion that was high. But then when you said Rajnikant, and I said, but Rajni can. So still humor. You flipped it back. Whatever it was serious at that point of time, you used humor to deflect that sense. That's it.
Yeah.
And if they're saying this, that's nothing. This thing, that means somewhere some possibility is that they have had an experience with a coach that's been bad. Listen to what they're telling, not the words, the emotion that they're trying to tell you. If they are getting angry at that, there's something that's inside them that's angry. They are not angry. So they have anger inside them. So what you can do, use that scene as an example of what you read as a coach. Say, I can sense that you are getting angry about it. And then, yeah, they'll be like, obviously I'm angry. See, what I did right now was coaching, because I observe and I tell you. This is also part of what I do as a coach. Then you have the attention of the rest of the audience or that audience, either case. Then you bring your coaching skills, you're through. And with not even credential level coaching skills, I think you can still, pass a coaching test by somebody from your network. You stay true with whatever you're trying to say. So who are you angry at? Are you angry at me? Are you angry at yourself? Put the lens back on them. You don't have to answer by answering. You can answer by questions. Again, it's person dependent, exact scenario dependent. But what I'm giving you options here to say, okay, you don't have to feel stuck if somebody corners you or you feel cornered.
Can I add on to that, Sunil, if okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, just one of my mentor used to say that our reputation has to flow from outside to inside, not from inside to outside. Because people who know us in the very close circle, they know our flaws, they know our journey, they know our behavior in and out. So it's very difficult to seek the validation from the inner circle. So start spreading out, make the changes in the outer circle, let your reputation speak for yourself to your inner circle. So that's another approach towards it, rather than just trying to fulfill the inner circle. Because if you take me, even in my own circle or in my family, people don't really trust and believe in coaching. They're not even exposed to coaching. They don't know what this girl is doing every week and sitting for some weekend program, always sitting in front of laptop and doing something. They don't know the value of it. But I know my inner passion of doing this, and I know this is something needed for this world down the line, so that you can bring good changes in the world. So when I have conviction in what I'm doing, I should not seek the validation from the people who have not got the consciousness expansion what I got. So I should go out there and help people. Let the output of me talk for me. That's what I always tell to myself.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
And there's nothing more impactful than conviction giving you what you want as fuel to move forward. And at some point, your records your accolades and your work cannot be ignored anymore, right? So all across any epic that you see, any place, any story that you're seeing, your real work, your true work will be recognized by possibly if your own people, or usually first by people that are not your first circle, right? So there's always, I know this person. So that is always there, that sort of a easy attitude, saying, oh, I know Sunil, and he says he's a good coach, but I don't know if he's a good coach. For you to silence some of your most strongest friends who are your strongest critics, the strongest non-supporters, your work has to do the talking. There is no other alternative to it. And your validation is at all points, specifically with process, is with coaching. Are you nailing the process? If you're nailing the process, the rest of the things will come. Are you being coached like at every possibility that is being given to you? You will get better as a coach. You will get paid, you will get attention, you will get accolades. Are you doing this for a long journey? So any coach who's doing it for the long term will always have a larger purpose at play, saying, why am I doing this? And that conviction, that drive, that intensity, everything automatically flows. Even if nobody understands, I understand, and that for me is enough. This is my goal, not anybody else's goal. So
absolutely.
I used to make a fun statement to myself. It says that मुझसे अभी फायदा ले लो because I am offering my services free. Next year by this time you can't afford me even. This I tell to myself.
Absolutely. Possibly tell it out to the outside world also. Hey, this is where I am, and I'm offering a pro bono. It's a chance of a lifetime. You miss it, go away. There's nothing that works as easily as FOMO. Fear of missing out is one of the best ways in which you can actually drive the point home. And
Yeah, I think on the similar line, the WhatsApp post I posted today, it had the same statement saying that the chances not taken or the opportunities lost, something like that. So it's in very coherence with what you are telling now.
And inspire people to get coached. Don't push people to get coached. It will not work. Inspire people. The difference between asking somebody to read 10 volumes of textbooks to making them interested in a novel. So I've read novels this big, right? Like this thick in a day. And textbook this small. I'm like, why should I go? Because the novel writer created interest. I was reading the textbook because it is a compulsion to read. And I've had so many say topics that I resonated with because a teacher was fantastic. And then I went and researched volumes and volumes and volumes on it. So create a spark of interest, create a spark of inspiration, and you'll find your clients coming to you right, left, center. And you can do it in multiple ways. That ways, I think what works for you, will have to figure it out. But inspire them on coaching, and one of the easiest ways is testimonials. Nothing works better than testimonials. Ask for testimonials from your peer coaches, from your clients, from your friends for experience coaching who know you as a person. And testimonials need not be at all points about your coaching skill. It can also be the person who you are, right? So you're not just preaching to the choir, you're preaching to the entire world, or you're singing to the entire world. So even though you're sharing to your world right now, you never know who is going to screenshot it and share it on their status, share it on social media, share it somewhere else. At least that's how I've grown my poetry network, grown my volunteering network, grown my coaching business, coaching network. At all points of time, I am delivering value. I am there. At every opportunity there is, I am there. If I am not finding opportunities, I am making opportunities. So that should be your focus, like single pointed focus towards getting better at your craft. And Jugad, you will find different ways to make it happen. Because the intention, if you are having saying, I need to make it happen, your inner wisdom will come. That will make you do things that push you from your comfort zone, but will make you work.
At this stage of a career, like when I'm just starting, how important is the ICF membership? Or at this stage,
Depends.
it's not as important.
Depends, right? So I didn't use my ICF membership to its fullest extent the first year. This is my second year of ICF membership. First year, I didn't use it to fullest extent. This year, I'm like, I've given 40,000, 45,000 in totally 2 years, like 2 years space. I'm like, I have to ensure I'm getting at least 2 lakh, 3 lakh ROI out of it. So I am looking at it from a space saying investment should work for me, and I'll also work for the investment. So a lot of us believe that ICF membership, once I'm getting, is gone. Like I'm going to get value. But what ICF membership is a gateway to other things. So there's like a COP that there are multiple COPs you can get into, a community of practice. Then you can do your own free website. You can host sessions in the ICW. You can offer pro bono sessions in the ICW. You can reach out to people from, say, like join a ICF chapter near you. So I am part of ICF Bangalore. And then from there, my network slowly expanded to ICF Chennai. Be a part, and I've been taking every opportunity that I've been gotten. And then somebody offered me a role saying, why don't you lead the community of practice for ICF Bangalore to young and new coaches, new and young coaches who are part of the equation. So I am a new coach myself. So I've hardly been there a year. If somebody is offering me something, I'm like, somewhere something is doing, I'm doing it right. And then taking it forward from there. So every opportunity, if you want to invest, ICF membership is a good one. So it depends on how much do you want to know about the ICF. From the investment that you have, what do you want to get out?
You've
So
already invested so much. I mean, right now I've not made a single penny. So
it will
I was
come.
just thinking,
It will come. I think you'll have to work with
it
that
will come
faith.
definitely. I'm confident. But if I do it after 6 months or a year, you think it's okay?
It's anyway 1 year from whenever you start. So previous to that, it used to be pro rata. But now it is from whenever you pay, it is 1 year from that date.
Yeah. If I join 1 year from now, it's okay.
It's okay. I think you don't lose anything because you've not taken it. Possibly you will gain a lot by taking it. And then again, the gain also has to be your own voluntary act of gaining. Take as much as you want. So it's like you paid for a buffet. Make sure you're hungry when you get there. So
right now, I think I can do more of peer-to-peer coaching here itself.
yeah. And if you're doing peer coaching in ICF, I think there's some places where you can pay and get to a place where they will assign peer coaches for you. And I think that's some $85 or $65 or something. And then you randomly map with somebody else from other part of the world, or possibly India, depends, randomly you're mapped. And then you can do, I think, 6 or 7 peer coaching sessions with them or something like that. That also is there as a service from ICF. But again, somewhere you'll have to spend money on it. If that's not something on your cards, then there's always networks like what I run. There are other networks you can get into, be a part of those, and get your hours, get your experience, start experiencing coaching and giving coaching experience to others. So at every point of time, I am now looking at stuff where I'm saying, if I'm putting an investment, what am I working to make that investment work for me? The investment directly, automatically will not work. So I will have to make it work. So again, it's a mindset space. So if I'm putting it, I'll have to make work for it. That is how it is. And because I'm in it here for the long run, so I'm like short term, I may not get the highest gains, but wait for it. Yes, Coach Rahul is here. Hi, Rahul.
Hi, Rahul. Nice to see
Yeah, I
you.
was just silent all this while listening to you all speak. So
Yes. I saw you.
the power of silence, Sunil.
And power of silence, active listening, absorption from interesting questions. So yeah, good to see you. So I see you've been to the IIT Madras pro bono conversations. Yeah, I think when you are also part of ICF chapters, there are some chapters that do Ignite projects. So I think there's some place where you get to work pro bono and with NGOs, with different organizations. So your exposure also increases. So that's one of the other advantage of working with ICF membership. From there, working with a chapter, from there getting exposure. So it's again a network. You're accessing a network, tapping into a network. Then you have to build the network. So just because you're a part of a network, nothing works. You know that you're a BNI, fellow BNI, so you don't.
Yeah. So I think, but first I will continue with you as my mentor and my peer-to-peer coaching and my, what else did you say? Something else. That's what, and I forgot.
Yeah, we'll share the recordings. That's why we hit the record button so that if you need anything, you can come back and listen to it.
Yeah, we do that. And then maybe after 6 months or to a year, when I'm more confident, because I've just passed out, not even barely even passed out of coaching, and right now I think I'll skip the ICF part. I would rather invest in other things.
Yeah. So you get to take your calls, whatever calls work for you, and at whatever time it works for you. So good. So I think we are almost at time to close the conversation. So I will do CC 8.9 and say, are we at a good place to close the conversation? You say yes, and we'll close. Yes. So
you
good then.
Give us some coaching classes also.
Sorry?
You give us some coaching classes to end also.
Yeah.
Reminded of us 2 markers.
Yes. 6.7 is all paraphrasing, 8.9 is closure. 8.2 or 8.3 is about what have you learned about yourself during the call. So I've done it so many times that I'm like right now, like I can grow like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And people are like, Sunil, you know your space. We wait for us to also come. Hold. And now I've also changed my pace of talking. Because otherwise, somewhere it's almost like autopilot. I run an autopilot saying, oh, after this will come. Even with this question, you can access these parameters, or these is competencies, these markers. So if not, this could have also been asked. So it's become so much a part of me that I don't have to think about the question to ask. So get to that place through practice, through consistency, and then everything else will follow. Yeah, so enough of Gyan for today. So Wednesday, I think there's another session. We will meet, I think 7 o'clock to 8:30. It's, I think a lot of you will know, it's an observer coaching session. So Priya and Rahul also know about it. I don't think, Deepthi, have you been a part of the observer coaching space? I don't think so, right? Yeah. So what happens in observer coaching?
I'm not sure, but I have been, I think, in my own cohort where I studied, they do peer coaching. So I think that is similar probably.
Yeah.
As peer coaching lab, they do.
There's a
You
coach and there's a
observe.
coaching and there's an observer who's
Correct.
And you
taking the markers and making sure that all the markers and components are covered up. And at the end, the observer gives a report. And plus the public also make even a few of their viewpoints, whatever they felt right or wrong about it.
So I mean, my academy does that peer coaching lab. There's a coach, there is a client, and there's a mentor coach. And then of course we observe, and then the mentor coach gives the inputs at the end. And others can give positive inputs, but not criticize.
Yes, exactly. So the same thing will happen tomorrow. And we can, you're free to join. I think it's at 7 o'clock, 7 to 8:30.
Yeah, I'll just be there till 8 o'clock. I'll have to log off and go at 8 o'clock and join another meeting.
Sure, no problem. Yeah, I think you'll stay in for the session. Yeah, you can stay in for the session. We usually do 40 minutes of session and another 40 minutes of debrief and question answers and stuff like that. So even today's conversation was a result of whatever was questions from labs from, say, Shanmugapriya and their cohort. So I run cohorts where we do the same thing in terms of observer coaching, but with a structure of 8 weeks with the same set of people, so that you get to get feedback, learn, and stay with the energy of a cohort. So yeah. Good then.
Yeah, I join tomorrow, although it is quite late in Hong Kong. Right now I'm already feeling sleepy. Tomorrow it is starting at this time, 9:30.
Yeah, so
possibly starting at 9:30, no? Starting early.
7 for her. It's Hong Kong 2.5 hours ahead.
Okay, your time 9.
Yeah. Don't worry. I will be sleepy by my time 9:30. So I will not keep sessions at that point of time.
I'll try to join and maybe be split.
Yeah. And possibly I was looking at a cohort where next time I do it earlier. So there's one lady from Brunei who was interested, I think Juliana. So if there's some more resonance to that, I may even do another cohort sometime earlier than 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank
Perfect
you.
then. Cool then. Chalo.
Thanks,
We'll see you
Sunil.
tomorrow.
Thanks, Sunil.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Great
you.
meeting everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.